Hello, it's Nat here. Let's take a look at what's been making news. Ramadan begins today. It's a very important part of the Islamic calendar and people all over the world take part. But this year, because of COVID-19, it's gonna have to be a little different.
Hello, my name is Rayhan. My religion is Islam.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Eid Zurich and I am a Muslim.
Ramadan is a month of fasting.
From sunrise to sunset. Fasting is the fourth pillar in Islam. In this blessed month we increase praying, reading the Quran and giving generously to charity and the poor. This is one of my favourite times of the year because it is unique and special.
This year it's going to be different because of COVID-19 restrictions.
The community will miss gathering in prayers at the mosque on a daily basis, along with not being able to break fast with families and friends.
We'll be calling and video chatting with family and friends. I'll miss the hugs and cuddles this year.
However, I will stay positive and maximise this Ramadan at home with my family.
The NRL says this season's definitely going ahead and will kick off again on May 28th. State and federal governments have given the okay, and teams will be able to start training from May 4th. The AFL's planning a return too, but it definitely won't be until after the rugby starts. The AFL's also talking about putting teams into quarantine hubs to reduce travel and the chance of spreading the virus. There have been some pretty important messages over the past few months, messages that every Australian needs to hear. That's why you've probably noticed more sign language interpreters on our screens. They do a really important job making sure thousands of deaf Australians understand what's happening in the world. So we caught up with Auslan interpreter Mike Webb to explain a little bit more. Oh, and this story will be interpreted too.
Recently, you've probably seen plenty of this guy, but you might have also seen a lot of these guys. They are Auslan interpreters, and they help thousands of Aussies with hearing difficulties understand what's going on.
So Auslan is Australian Sign Language, so it's an acronym. So the AUS is the Australian and then the LAN is sign language. It is a sophisticated language. It is the language of the deaf community here in Australia. Each sign language around the world is different, but ours is very strongly based on the British.
It's not just a word-for-word translation though. See, Auslan and English are completely different languages.
Well, I think the common misconception is that that Auslan is basically just English on the hands, and it's actually really not the case. There is no written form of Auslan. You can't sort of write in sign. 90% of the community have grown up with signing as their first language. English is their second language.
And it's more than just signing what's going on. Mike also has to make sure people understand the emotion.
The more facial expression, the more emotion you put into it to understand what the speaker is saying, the deaf people then get that equal message.
So there's a bit of a difference between interpreting a press conference and, say, a rock concert.
That deaf audience that are there because they might be massive AC/DC fans. And if I'm sitting up there like I look at a press conference, very dull and very boring, that's not AC/DC, that's not rocking it out.
Auslan interpreters are being seen on our screens a lot more, and kids in some schools are even learning Auslan as a second language. Mike says everyone should have access to the same message, no matter how it's delivered.
There's no place quite like home, as I'm sure these next animals will absolutely agree. It's time for Home at Last. A couple walking around Seattle in the US came across these little ducklings in a stormwater drain. After calling their local animal shelter, they put the ducklings in a paper bag and headed off to find Mama Duck.
Mama!
These penguins are about to head home for the first time in months. They were found starving and stranded during migration season, but now they're ready to hit the high waters of the Argentinian Sea once more, happy and healthy. Be free, little birds! And finally, here's the moment one happy owner is reunited with her dog. Jackson, the Aussie Shepherd, was stolen last year from out the front of a grocery store. But now, Jackson's been found and reunited with his rightful owner, just 1 week after his 6th birthday. That's all we've got time for today, but we'll be back again tomorrow. Same time, same place. In the meantime, hit like. And if you want to stay up to date on all of BTN's videos, hit subscribe. Go on, hit it.